Welcome back, everyone.
Morning, ma'am. Morning,
Yes, good
everyone.
morning.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to the eighth session of the fourth day of the 5-day skill development program in English language. Our mentor for the session is Dr. M.E. Veda Sharan, Department of English as Second Language Studies, School of English Language Education, the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, Telangana. In his last session that took up how to read a poem, he chose to talk about Robert Frost's poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening and help the participants see the beauty in the lines, in the alliteration, unusual rhyme scheme, consonants, as well as assonance. From telling the participants the origin of the word poem and explaining how binaries work in a poem to bring out hidden layers of meaning, he brought the poem alive. He also picked up a phrase from his previous session, the hermeneutic circle, to show how it applies to this poem, which everyone thought was an ordinary one. By the time he concluded his session, the children were familiar with tenor and vehicle in a poem, as well as how to pick up the warp and weft of the fabric of the written word. The poem actually began in delight and ended in wisdom for the learners, and they understood the Heraclitus dictum that it is impossible to jump into the same river twice. Thank you, sir, for that wonderful session. And we are looking forward to the session as well and learning new things from you. I hope the participants are waiting excitedly as well. With the permission of the chair, I would like to begin the session. May I now request Dr. Veda Sharan to kindly begin the fourth session of the Skill Development Program. Over to you, sir. So, would you like the PPT to be put up on the screen now?
Yes, ma'am, that's right. Could you
Yes,
do that?
so Kanya ma'am, I would request you to kindly share your screen.
Okay, good morning, everyone, once again. Hope my session yesterday was useful and you thought about it a little bit. Right, today we will take a look at what I call reference skills. This is to look up the dictionary and so on. The thesaurus and the dictionary mainly. I'm sure you will be doing the encyclopedias too, but that's a different thing. We will come back to these things a little later. So today we will have a look at reference skills. I'm sure all of you would have used a dictionary at some time or the other. And we will take a closer look at it today to see how these things work. Right, any ideas about the dictionary? What kinds of dictionaries we have? If you can just share your experiences with the dictionary. How do they look? What are they useful for and what do they do? Okay, very good. There are pronunciation dictionaries, excellent. Dictionaries that are dedicated to pronunciation, yes. You would be interested to know that phonetics and linguistics are sciences that began in India. If you look at our alphabet, we have neatly separated the vowels from the consonants. Yes, the thesaurus is a kind of dictionary. It is called a reverse dictionary because from the meaning you go to the word. In the ordinary dictionary, yes, there are bilingual, monolingual dictionaries, trilingual dictionaries, pictorial dictionaries. Yes, wonderful, very good. Etymological dictionary, yes, 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 absolutely, yes. Really, that's fantastic. So, as I was saying, okay, okay. There are many different kinds of dictionaries around here. Anybody knows the most respected dictionary in the English language? What is it called? Okay, it is called the Oxford English Dictionary, OED. The Oxford English Dictionary. It's called the Oxford English Dictionary. The planning for it began in the 1830s, and yeah, the publication happened in 1924. They took about 90 years to bring it out. It is in about 12 volumes. And there are only about 4 or 5 languages that have this kind of dictionary. One is in Latin, the other is in Russian, Hebrew, and in Sanskrit. These are the great uh, dictionaries that are uh, most respected in the world. Uh, they are so massive that they require thousands of people to work on it. And making these dictionaries is a statement of economic and political power the nation has. So let me repeat these languages which have this kind of dictionary, like the Oxford English Dictionary. English, of course. Then we have Russian, Latin, Hebrew, and Sanskrit. No other language has this kind of massive dictionaries. All right. So can we go to the next slide, ma'am? There are different ways of classifying the dictionary, as you have shown us here. One way of doing it is the way in which you can carry them. The pocket dictionary is, of course, meant for the pocket. You can slip it into your pocket and walk around. Then you have the desktop dictionaries, which are huge and massive. Then we have the collegiate dictionaries. The dictionary plays a very important role in establishing a language. Can you say what it does? How a dictionary can help a language achieve prestige, respect, stability? Any guesses? Yes, it fixes the meaning of the word. Yes. Any other? It fixes the spelling. Yes. Pronunciation, spelling, usage. Very good.
The students
The-
from YouTube are answering. It enriches our vocabulary. Two of them have answered. Indu Kumari, Asta Bhardwaj.
okay. Okay. Yes, it helps us you learn the usage of words correctly. Yes. Then we have the collegiate dictionary. Yes, we get yeah. Some dictionaries do give us synonyms and antonyms as well. Yes, very good. It does give us information about the language. Okay, that's fantastic. So now you can see that there are different kinds of dictionaries now, depending on their size. The collegiate dictionaries are very heavy dictionaries. For American English to gain prestige, we have the Webster dictionaries, started by a guy called Noah Webster. But that's a different story. We don't have the time for that, so we will get along with it. Yeah, Merriam. Now it's called the Merriam-Webster. That's right. Yes, Merriam-Webster. It's called now. In those days, it was called Webster's Dictionary. And it stabilized the American dialect of the language. Okay, so another way of looking at it is a basic learner's dictionary. Then we have the advanced learners dictionary and we have the native speakers dictionary. And these days we have the online dictionary. Can we go to the next slide, ma'am? Yeah, the basic learners contain some of the most important words that you would like to learn. Advanced learners are people who have spent some years with the language. And then we have the native speakers dictionary. We have the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary in English, and we also have the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary. Both Longman and basic learners have, Longman also has a basic learners dictionary. There are many movements in dictionaries, and we can't just talk about it now. But yes, Collins Dictionary. Collins is one of the most basic fundamental dictionaries that created a lot of innovation in dictionaries. Okay, since you guys know so much about it, let me add a little bit more to it. There are two aspects to a dictionary: lexicography and lexicology. Lexicology is about the policies of the dictionary, whether we should include, for example, proper names, proper nouns like people, cities, and so on. Some dictionaries include these things, and some dictionaries don't include these things. This is about the lexicology part of it. The lexicographer is the person who actually writes the definition of the word, and there's a lot of things about it. Today we have whole MA courses in lexicography of how to write a dictionary. People do a post graduation in that, and a lot of PhDs. It's a very poorly researched area. And if any of you wants to do a PhD in linguistics and language, the dictionary is an open field. Lot of work to do in that. So we have the basic learners dictionary, the advanced learners dictionary. Both these dictionaries are meant for the non-native speakers, the learners, the foreigners. And the native speakers dictionary is a slightly more advanced one. The way it defines words, the words it includes are different from the basic learners and advanced learners dictionaries. Now, of course, we have the online dictionary, uh, like dictionary.com. There was this American dictionary called the Random House Dictionary of the English Language, which is a native speakers dictionary. This is an application that is free to download. It gives you etymology and a lot of other things. You can go to the app store in your mobile. I think if you have an Android on your phone, then it is.
So can you repeat the name of the application?
It's called dictionary.com.
Yes, sir.
Dictionary.com. It's available for iPhone as well as the
Android
Android
version.
phone. So it's a free app. You can download it for free. It's an amazing dictionary. As I said, it's meant for the native speakers, and it gives you a lot of information, details, and pronunciation also. It can pronounce it for you. There's something called the Urban Dictionary, which is again a free dictionary available online. It gives you a lot of information on slang and informal language and a lot of filthy language that is around now. Uh, what is a compendium dictionary? Was that the question that was asked sometime back?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anshu Topo is asking, what is compendium dictionary?
See, there are dictionaries that are designed for the specific user. So these dictionaries, the OED, the Oxford English Dictionary, has all the words in the language. But now it is not being printed. It was printed for the last time in 1989. Then they wanted to reprint it to 2012. But because of the massive size of the dictionary, they decided to make it available only online.
Online version.
So, yeah, it's only online now. The basic dictionary, as you can see here, is meant for the basic learners. Advanced, slightly more advanced, and then the native speakers is the most advanced dictionary. This can be single volume affairs, but the OED is a in the book form is a 12 volume thing. So a compendious dictionary will have much less number of words than a native speakers dictionary will have or an OED will have. Of course, we also have these specialist dictionaries like a dictionary for I can't see the whole thing here.
So
It's a kind
I'll
of
repeat the
restricted
question
book.
to you.
The Urban Dictionary is available online.
So it is asking, she is asking that is Urban Dictionary a kind of restricted dictionary?
And it is it basically focuses on slang and informal language. It's a free language. It's a free app. It's a free thing. You can just go to the um, internet and open it, and you can do that. Another interesting thing that you can find is what is called the corpus. The most popular is the British National Corpus. You can type in BNC into the Google thing, and it will give you the corpus. A corpus is a list of words. billions of words actually, which have been downloaded onto the computer. And if you want to see different sentences for a word, like let us say consequence or setting, you can go and type in the search box. You can key in setting, and it will give you thousands of sentences using the word setting. So you can read up these sentences and form your own idea of what sort of expression setting is. You will see that setting is normally used for negative things. So we say darkness setting, disease setting, baldness setting, rigor mortis setting. It's normally used for winter setting. These are normally negative things. It's used with negative words. So yeah, so you can have fun with these things. The way in which it is printed and all that, I don't have the time to go into these things. It's a very fascinating area, but we don't have the time to go in for all these things. Maybe, hopefully, some other time
Yes, sir, sure. Why not?
we can we can do it. Uh, right. So now um, we have about 1 hour, ma'am. Right, isn't it?
Yes, sir. What, 12:30 or 12:45? We can go.
Okay. All right. So yeah, basically, what dictionaries are doing these days, I will discuss as we go along. Um, yeah. Um, what help does a dictionary give you? Anybody can guess here? Ma'am, can you change the screen? Next one. Yeah. One thing about the any dictionary is that it will always follow the same sequence for the information. Uh, Now, these are the dictionaries that we have, like the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary or the Concise Oxford English Dictionary. These dictionaries are not historical dictionaries. Yes, exactly. Uh, Everything, all the information is placed always in the same place and same sequence. Like the word is given first, then you have the pronunciation, then you have the grammatical information, and then you have the definition of the word. Okay, so yeah, it's a very interesting thing to find out these things. The dictionaries are designed to be user friendly. At the bottom of the page, you have Revati was discussing the other day, the phonetic symbols that are uh, used to pronounce these things. As you know, there are 44 sounds in the English language, but there are only 26 letters.
Yes, sir.
There are 18 missing letters in the language. Like if you look at the letter A, it has different pronunciations depending on the context. How do you say A in father, the A in fat, the A in gate? So it has different pronunciations. So in the phonetic symbols, as you know, you have one symbol for one sound. So you have 44 sounds there and 44 symbols. It's good to learn up these things. At the bottom of the page in the dictionary, in every page, you have these symbols given to you. Um, right. So you get grammatical information, whether it will tell you whether the word is a noun, pronoun. There are bilingual dictionaries, yes, which give you the translation. We'll come back to that a little later. Then there is the semantic thing, which gives you the meaning. Words, as you know, are of two types. One is the content words, which in theory are unlimited. So when we have new inventions, we get new words for it. So this will increase, but there are the grammatical terms like conjunctions, prepositions. They don't increase in number. They are relatively fixed and they don't increase. So most of the dictionary is concerned with the content words. Okay, so what we find in language is that the word comes first and the thing comes afterwards. In our religious books, we are taught that the thing came first and then the name comes afterwards. But according to linguists, that's not completely correct. The word comes first and then the thing comes afterwards. If you look at the word computer, it's about 400 years old, but the computer itself arrives much later. We'll not go into those things. Right. So, uh, grammatical aspect, there's a semantic aspect, which is the meaning. Then we have the pronunciation. As you know, English is a stress-based language most of the time, but not all the time. The nouns take the accent on which syllable do the nouns take the accent? Anyone? The nouns take the accent on the first syllable, and the verbs take the accent on the second syllable. So if you have a word like object, object, the stress is on O, and that's a noun. An object is anything that you can see. Object, stress on J, the second syllable, and you get a verb. To object is to not allow someone to do something, as you know. So this is one of the distinctions that the dictionary will teach you. As someone said, there are special dictionaries for pronunciation, like the Daniel Jones English Pronouncing Dictionary. The dictionary also, among many other things, the dictionary helps you to clarify spelling. For example, do you spell separate with a PA or PE? So you have a doubt about it, and you can go and check it out there in the dictionary whether separate is PA or PE. So what is it? PA or PE? It's PA, right? So yeah, that's right. Yes. We don't. It's not a pronunciation class, so I'm just briefly going through these things. Um, yeah, it's PA. That's correct. Yep. So, but sometimes people are not sure about it, and then you can go and check it out. So even native speakers are not sure sometimes. So they will check out these things, especially long and confusing words can be problematic. There are all kinds of rules that are there, but then they don't always work, as you know. One of the rules about spelling is that you write an E before an I, or an I before an E, except before a C. So the previous letter is C, then it is EI. If it is not C, then it is IE. So receive, yeah, receive is EI because it's a C. But if it is V, then it becomes IE, like in believe, relieve. But these are rules that don't work. Now we have a word like weird, which is W, but you have EI there. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. Right. Grammatically speaking, you have a lot of information that the dictionary gives you. Sometimes it will give you information that the grammar books don't give you. So this is a very interesting thing that you can find. For example, it will tell you that many adjectives end with ish, and usually, but not always, an adjective ending in ish will either show you the negative features of a word, or they will it reduce the power of the word. Can you give me examples of this concept? When you find ish at the end of the word, it either becomes weak or, yeah, childish. Very good. That's a very excellent example. Very good. Childish shows the negative features of a child. which is, yeah, can you tell me what they are? They can be yes, foolish. They
Foolish.
can, children can be stubborn, they can be unreasonable, and so on. So we
Bookish.
have a difference between childish and childlike. Childlike is positive in the sense that all children are sweet and innocent, and childlike refers to the present, pleasant, nice, lovable features of a child. But childish refers to the negative features. So the dictionary gives you this kind of information which the grammar book does not give you. So in one sense, the dictionary is even more useful than a grammar book. Only if only you have the patience to read up the information that the dictionary gives you. Okay. So as the French say, you can't make omelets without breaking eggs, which basically means that you have to lose something to gain something. Yes, yes, exactly.
The
So these
students
are
are answering in the YouTube chat box as well. Some of them have written rubbish,
absolutely.
fetish, feverish. Yes,
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. So the word is weakened there when you say something is bluish.
greenish, bluish.
Yeah, so it's not exactly blue, but it's slightly blue.
Yes.
You might tell your friend that you will meet them 10ish.
Not
10ish is,
exactly 10.
yeah, not exactly 10, but maybe a little before or a little afterwards.
After.
So it weakens the word, it makes it less precise. The dictionary will tell you this kind of information which the grammar book doesn't tell you. So there's a lot of information available in the dictionary which we have not completely utilized. So I thought I'd spend a little time on seeing how the dictionary can give us some independence. It's not complete independence that the dictionary can give you, but to some extent it can give you the independence. Google or whatever cannot replace your teacher. Thank God for it. But anyway, yeah. So pronunciation. Yesterday, somebody was talking about photography, photographer, all the how the accent shifts depending on the verb there. That was a very interesting thing that we were doing there the other time. Right, spelling is there in English, as you know. We have a lot of problems there. People make a lot of fun of the English language. Sometimes one, as Bernard Shaw pointed out, GHOTI. If you write a word like, there's no word like that, but GHOTI should be pronounced as fish. If you take the GH from enough, you
Okay.
have the F sound there. And then if you take the O from women, you write O, but you get yes. And if you take the TI from station, so GHOTI should be pronounced as fish if you use the logic there. I say it's an absurd way of pronouncing there. But our languages are simple and beautiful because we pronounce as we write them. Of course, as people who are learning French will notice that French is even more notorious for writing something and saying something else. Okay, ma'am, can we go to the next slide? Right. The dictionary also gives us syllables. It syllabifies. Uh, Syllabification is somewhat useful for us in the sense that it helps us break up a long word. Okay, the dots that you see between the letters, between hap and pi and p, happiness, these are called syllable markers, and this is called syllabification. Okay. The other use, of course, here is that when you're writing and writing by pen, and if a word does not fit at the end of the
Page.
page, this is where you should break the word. You can't break it at HA. You have to break it at HAP. Another chance for you to break is at HAPPI. And so there are rules by which according to which you can break a word. You can't break the word wherever you like when you're writing it. You have to break it only at the syllable. So the syllabification process is very useful because you could take up a long word, Shashi Tarur words if you want to call them, and if you want to uh, break up this word into manageable pronunciation, the syllabification is a very useful thing. You know, maybe it's like eating a chapati where you break it up into pieces and manage to eat it, but you can't eat the whole chapati at once, maybe. So that's how this syllabification is useful, and the dictionary gives you these things. So please pay attention to it the next time that you look at the dictionary. Usage is a very big issue in dictionaries. By usage, we can mean the dialect, uh, British, North American English. NAME is North American English. That includes both the United States and Canada. That is called North American English. N is North, AM is American, and E is English, as you can see here. You know, the British say director and the Americans say director.
Director.
Yeah, the British say semi
Yes,
and
it's
the
a matter.
Americans say, as you know, yeah, semi. The problem with the Americans is that they don't know who they are. Like one grandparent is from
Identity
Norway,
crisis.
the other grandparent is French, the mother is Italian, and the father is German. And in the end, who are they? They are like a khichdi. So their English is a problematic thing. So it's a huge country, three times the size of India, and the British Isles are the size of Tamil Nadu. But many people see the Americans as a product of Britain. It's like a classic example of a tail wagging the dog. So the Americans are very particular about their English. They want to be different from the British. And so they have changed their spelling and pronunciation and all that sort of stuff. Of course, we now have Indian English coming up. Yeah, but now the most dominant form of English is American English. Uh, I don't know how many of you have heard of this word called a biro, BIRO, biro. Anybody's heard of it? We are more familiar with the American version of it as the ballpoint pen. So that's how American English dominates now because of its economic, political, and military might. The most powerful dominant form of English is, you know, even in your own language, you will see that one version of the language dominates. In Telugu, we have the coastal part of Telugu that dominates. Where I live and I speak Telangana Telugu, which is supposed to be inferior. It is spoken by jokers and villains in Telugu films.
Okay.
Whereas this Andhra Telugu is the one in which you find news and PhD dissertations are offered to the world. But then that's a sad part of it. We don't have time to go into those things. Then under usage, we also have formal, slang, offensive, vulgar. A word like, for example, Paki is an offensive word,
Yes.
and we should never use that word when we talk about a Pakistani. We say Pakistani, but never say Paki. It's an offensive word, like the word Negro is now an offensive word. You can talk about the black people in the United States or in Africa, but Negro is an offensive, it's an insulting word, as Paki is an insulting word. Slang, of course, is very colorful, uh, very interesting part. Formal language is the language that we use when you write formal letters and so on. Once again, formality has a lot of variety in it. in the letters that I will discuss a little later on.
So some
I
of the
will briefly.
students are commenting in the YouTube box, like there is another word for the word negro, like they say nigga or
Sorry?
nigger.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. What
Yes.
is that?
So nigger or nigger they say.
Nigger,
Very
yes, nigger.
slang
Nigger is a,
form of
is a
negro.
very offensive word,
Yes,
yes.
it is very offensive and should not be used.
Yeah, like if you want to commit suicide, you can call an African person by that name
Yeah, very offensive. They'll take
and
it
they can kill you
personally.
for it. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yes, that's right. So, negro, nigger, these are offensive words, which are insulting words for people, and we should never ever use these things. In the formal language, it's extremely difficult to say where formal language ends and informal language begins. There is no red line that marks off these things. But the words which begin informally might move into formal. One example we have seen the other day is the word blurb. Blurb is mostly informal now, but it is moving into the formal usage. So it's not a stable thing that we can actually talk about. So language is never stable that way. So it keeps continuously changing. But that's a good way to look at it. Thank you for the question. So, uh, so this is a part of usage. Usage also includes example sentences. Yeah, after in the learners' dictionaries, but not in the native speakers' dictionaries. You have sentences, example sentences given after each word is explained. This is a part of usage. Um, Nowadays, the dictionary is so huge that a single person cannot write it. It has to be the collaborative effort of many people. Many experts are called in to help in writing the dictionary. Like there are experts for scientific terms, there are experts for American English, South African English, Indian English. So Indian English people are mostly Indians who advise the dictionary on Indian words, like prepone, for example. We coined the word prepone, which has now become a part of the dictionary. From South India, we have the word ayo. It's an exclamation you make when you see something sad happening. So these are words that are coming to the English language. Um, as we have seen the other day, there are countless words that have gone into English from Sanskrit, Hindi, Hindustani. Anyway, we'll come back to those things later. Okay. Uh, some dictionaries, the advanced learners dictionaries don't give you etymology. Etymology is the origin of a word, as you know. Etymon means the true origin, and etymology is the study of the true origin of a word. The one of the most common words in English is, and it comes from Sanskrit as, to be, to exist. Inter is between. So when you say international, it is between nations. You have an international airport. Comes from the Sanskrit word antar, between, and so on. We also have the dictionary has another thing called boxed items. Ma'am, could you show the thing that I sent you on WhatsApp where there's a boxed item there?
Yes, sir.
If
Sure,
it's
sir.
possible.
I'll need a minute to show you, sir. I'll just stop sharing this and I'll show you.
Okay, ma'am. Can we get on to the next slide now then? We'll come back to it once you're ready with that.
So either I need to stop sharing this to show you that, or I go to the next slide. So what do I do?
It's up to you, ma'am. If it's ready, then you can show them that. But if it is not, then we can come back to it a little later.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, well, so how does the dictionary begin? It has a foreword, usually by a big person, an expert in the language. Then there is the introduction to the dictionary. Sometimes this introduction can contain the history of the English language and so on. It will also tell you how to use the dictionary. It will tell you the different parts of the dictionary. I mean, of the explanation that's going on there. For example, you have the head words, which are there at the top of the page. That's called the head word. And then you have the entry words. Then you have the grammatical information, the explanation. All these things are explained to you, like in a map, you have a legend. If you remember that, every map has a legend, right? It tells you that square square bullets are cities, stars are capital cities, red lines are rivers. Things that's a legend for the map, right? So
Yes.
similarly, you have this explanation about how the dictionary works. It's a very useful thing to spend your time on seeing how this works. Then you have the main body, which is the dictionary itself, where the meanings are explained to you. Sometimes the supplement, all dictionaries these days have a supplement. This supplement can be in the middle of the dictionary, or sometimes it's at the end of the dictionary. And the supplement teaches you briefly, not in detail, how to write an essay, how to write letters, CVs or resumes, how to write a report, and so on. It gives you the format for these things. It's worth going through these things very carefully. Because, for example, in letter writing, the tradition that we have in our country is different from the way in which the British and the Americans write letters. For example, uh, the British and the Americans think that it is a sign of arrogance and pride to write your name on the top. They never write their name on the top, but they write their address on the top. So if you're writing a letter, you write your address, but you don't write your name on the top. But in our country, we allow that to happen, which is fine. Okay, so there are different conventions. So if you are writing a letter to a European teacher asking them to help you, advise you, then you have to follow their customs. You can't write it in the way that we write. Uh, they are very particular about the way in which they are addressed. So if it's a lady who you know is who you don't know is married or not married, then you address them as Ms. MS. And they're very you can cost you a relationship if you don't follow these rules. So these are very important things, and it's worth your time and attention to see how you write a formal letter. The dictionary gives you this information in the supplement, where to write the date, how to address someone. All these things are given to you. So if you begin the letter by dear sir, or writing dear sir or madam, or if you write the name of the person, how do you finish the letter? Do you say yours faithfully or yours sincerely? It depends upon how you address the person at the beginning, that by saying dear sir, or dear sir madam, or uh, dear Mr. Smith. When you mention their name, the conclusion is different. Um, the way you end the salutation is different, and that kind of thing you must be very careful in following. The dictionary helps you with these things. So as you can see, these are small and somewhat tedious and boring things, but very important things. And once you learn them, you can get on with these things. So it teaches you how to write an essay, how to write what the British call a CV, curriculum vitae, what the Americans call a resume, how to write a report. Report writing, as you know, is very important. People working in a factory can report about a malfunctioning part, which can involve life and death in it. So how do you write a report to your boss? how do you write minutes? All these things are given to you in the modern dictionary in this part called the supplement. So please take a look at it.
So did you want?
Yeah, this is one example of the boxed item.
Yes.
You have a box here. Um, yeah, in which some extra information is given there. Okay, it has a different color as you can see, apart from the things. Yes, ma'am, can we get back to the other one?
You want the PPT or the next image?
The PPT again, ma'am, back to the PPT.
Okay. So Kanya ma'am, you can share the screen again.
Yeah, we'll come back to this a little later.
Yes.
Yeah, so the supplement does all these things for us. Yes, ma'am. Next slide. Can we get on to the next slide, please? Yeah, this supplement can give you instructions on punctuation. One of the things it can tell you about is punctuation. It will explain all the different signs to you and their meanings, what they do actually. And then you have a lot of pictures there, sometimes photographs, sometimes handwritten, hand-drawn pictures. You can have kitchen items, like what is a faucet or a wash basin. Uh, the Americans say wash basin, but the British say sink, kitchen sink. You have a wash basin in your bathroom, but you have a sink in the kitchen. This is a British distinction. The Americans just say wash basin. Then you have illustrations about the basic body parts like eyes, nose, ears, arm, ankle, elbow. These things are illustrated for you and they are labeled there. Different kinds of fruits, vegetables, geographical features like plains, plateaus, oceans, lakes. These things are illustrated for you in the supplement. So why do we call it a bay on the eastern part of our country, and what is a sea and what is an ocean? All these things are discussed there here in the supplement part of it, right? So it would be a very profitable time if you could spend some time on this. This is the supplement part. As I was saying, some of the dictionaries have the supplement at the end of it, at the end of the dictionary, and sometimes they have it in the middle. They have a lot of debate on this thing, whether you should put it in the middle or at the end. So that we won't go into that. There are some dictionaries that offer you a gazette. We have seen that the gazette is a list of place names. So famous cities all over the world are listed at the end of it. I have a dictionary called the Random House Dictionary that gives you the names and addresses of all the major universities in the world. It also gives you an atlas and a very beautiful American Air Force photograph of the moon showing all the details. So these are some of the extra things that a supplement can give you. Some dictionaries give and some dictionaries don't give you this extra information. Ma'am, can we move on to the next one? Next slide. Okay, now here we have an important thing here, something called the Oxford 3000 or the Cambridge 3000. Now these are the 3000 most frequently used words in the language. The claim that these people make is that if you know these 3000 words, then you can understand 85% or 80 or 85% of any text that you will come across, whether you're reading about films or whether you're reading philosophy. You can understand 85% of a text if you know these 3000 words. So they have taken it from the corpus, which is a list of words that are used mostly in written texts. And they counted these words by their frequency. and they identified 3,000 words which are most frequently used in the English language. There's a slight difference in the list of the Oxford people and the Cambridge people. So the R there shows that it's a registered trademark. It's a copyright thing. So you can't use these things without their permission. Um, you in the earlier books, the list used to be there at the end of the dictionary. It's a list of these words that is listed out. But now they are not printing it in the hard copy, but they are giving it to you in the CD-ROM. We'll come over to that in a little while. These 3,000 words are entered in the Advanced Learners Dictionary of Oxford and Cambridge. These words are printed in a larger font compared to the other words which are not there in the list. You get what I'm saying, ma'am? Can you show that illustration once again?
1 minute, sir.
Any of the ones that I sent you by WhatsApp?
Yes, sir.
Can you zoom in and show the keyword, any keyword there that you can spot, and see how it is printed differently from the other words which are not keywords? Yeah, for example, we have a word like the entry word should be a keyword, ma'am.
Not yet.
Yeah, Hawaiian shirt is not a keyword. Hawak is not a keyword. Hawala is, I think, an Arabic word, which is not a keyword. Could you try it in any of the other things?
1 minute, so we'll check other pages.
This under boxed item there. No, you don't have it here. It's
So there were
okay.
only 3 pages. I think it is not there here.
It's okay, ma'am. It's all right. Then forget it. We don't have it then.
Okay.
So the keywords are printed in a larger font size than the other words are printed. And you have the key symbol in front of them. They are telling you that this is a word that you have to read, that you have to learn. This is also the defining vocabulary of the dictionary, in the sense that all the words that are defined have the definitions taken from these words. The definitions of these words are taken from these 3,000 words. So that's a very important and a useful thing. All right. So, yeah, so this is what is called the vocabulary limitation movement. This started in sometime in the 1800s, 1870s actually. There's something called the General Service List. We won't go into that. By a guy called Michael Best. So anyway, you need to look at this Oxford. If you buy this dictionary, the Cambridge or the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, it comes with a CD-ROM, and you find this information there in the CD-ROM. I'll discuss that a little in the next slide. Ma'am, can we move to the next slide? These days, the dictionaries come with a CD-ROM, which you can download onto your computer. The CD-ROM has all the words in the hard copy and some extra words also. Many laptops now don't have a CD-ROM, so they give you access to your website with a password, which is there in the dictionary. The CD-ROM gives you more information about the words than the dictionary does, and it will also pronounce it for you. Every word is pronounced for you. Every word has a British pronunciation and an American pronunciation, and you have two speaker symbols there, one in blue and one in red. So if you click on the blue speaker symbol, you get the British pronunciation, and the red one gives you the American pronunciation. So if you press on the blue thing, it will say director. If you press on the red thing, it will say director. You have a male voice and a female voice that will pronounce these things. And you can choose that, of course. The CD-ROM also offers you vocabulary games. Like you can do a test on it, and you can do a vocabulary test, and it gives you a score after you have finished the test. So a lot of exciting things available on that. In India, the books are comparatively very cheap. So I would strongly urge you to buy one of these two dictionaries, the Oxford Advanced Learners or the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary. And please do not throw away the CD-ROM once you have downloaded it, because I think once in 3 or 4 months, it asks you to reload the whole thing again. So don't throw it away. One advantage that you have with the CD-ROM is what is called interfacing. I've not mentioned that here. For example, if you open open the dictionary on your computer and minimize it to the status bar at the bottom, you only need to click on the word that you want to look up when you're reading a text. Supposing you're reading a website or a Word document and you come across a word that you don't know the meaning of, you double click on this word and the dictionary will come onto the screen, opening at that word which you want to look up. So that's a very, very useful thing. It saves you a lot of time. So that way,
Sir, if
you
I
can.
can add in,
Yes, ma'am.
So that Oxford Dictionary, it is available online also. Like if you search in Google Chrome, it will open a page, and the word it is present with the icon. You were saying that blue icon and the pink icon, the same thing, that English pronunciation and American one. So the
Yes, ma'am.
students can access online as well.
Yeah, I think you need to pay for that. I don't think it's free.
Yeah, I think some, yes, yes. Upgrade version will require payment, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
Yeah, but if you buy the Oxford Dictionary Advanced Learners or
it comes
Cambridge
along with it.
Advanced Learners, you have the CD-ROM, which you can download onto your computer,
Okay, sir.
and that way you can use it. Okay. Then in the CD-ROM, you have multicolored fonts. That makes it a little more exciting and so on. You only need to key in a part of the word, and it will give you a list of the words around that word which you are searching for. So that way, it's a very interesting way of doing these things. Can we go to the next slide, ma'am? Yeah, so in the dictionary, we have these things. The head words are at the top on the left and right side of the top pages. Entry words are the words which are defined there. The definitions have a defining vocabulary, as I just pointed out to you. It gives you the etymology in the CD-ROM, the advanced learners. It doesn't give you on the text itself. You have phrasal verbs, idioms, all sorts of expressions and so on that you want to look at. Easily available here. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Uh, how does a language work? Basically, meaning can be of two types. There's the figurative one and there's the metaphorical one. So when you say give me a hand, which is to help someone, the basic meaning is with the hand, the physical hand, which is the literal meaning. And then we have the figurative or the metaphorical meaning. Next slide, ma'am. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, here you can see how these two ladies are using this word. Where this is a joke I'm sure you all must have heard of, which is why I have tried this here. The first lady says that the husband is an angel, meaning that he's a very, uh,
Nice
he's a
person.
very nice guy. And the second lady misunderstands it. She understands it in the literal sense of an angel. But the first lady is, as you can see, is using the word in a metaphorical sense of a nice person. So this is how words mostly work. Next slide, ma'am. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah, you need to personalize the dictionary. If you want to look up a word beginning with P, let us say the word pejorative, then you have to open it at P, not at O or Q. So you should know how the dictionary is laid out, at which part of the dictionary begins which word, and that will save you a lot of time. You can also use the thumb index. On the side of the book, you have ink marks or small holes where you can put your thumb and open it. This is called the thumb index. It's also a very good idea to make word cards, which I was discussing with you the other day. You can have small cards on which you write the meaning on one side and the word on the other side. And you can revise these by looking at the word and guessing the meaning, or looking at the meaning and guessing the word. Arrange them alphabetically. That will be very convenient. Yeah, you call them flashcards. Yes, thank you for the correction. Then you can, whenever you're bored, you can just open the dictionary at random and read up the words that are there, and you will be surprised to see how fast your vocabulary will increase. It will become a really amazing vocabulary if you do that. But it is very important that the words that you come across, the new words that you come across, you should connect them to your personal experience, your life. Let me just elaborate on this a little bit. If you can think of the word as a seed, it needs the soil to grow in, and your life is, your experience is the soil in which the word will grow. Now, I'm saying this because learning a word is not a product, it's a process. It takes time to happen because there are many aspects of learning a word. We'll see if we can discuss this a little bit later. Okay, but unfortunately, very little work has happened in how our brain processes these words. So, what exactly happens in your head when you look at a new word is a process that is not completely understood. So, we don't know how we actually learn a word. That's a big question mark even now in these days where we have made so much advances there. Okay, can we go to the next slide, ma'am? I'll just rush through these things. Okay, as you were, so one of you was saying, it gives you synonyms and antonyms. Then there are cross references. Like if you want to look up the word reverse, on a coin you have the reverse side and the obverse side. You look up the word reverse and the dictionary will say this is where the symbol is. Oh, sorry, where the value of the of the coin is written, maybe 1 rupee or 10 rupees. And it says CF. CF means to refer to, confer, refer. It says look up the word obverse. So you will learn two words when you want to learn one. The reverse side of a coin and the obverse side of a coin. The obverse side has the head. The reverse side has the value of the coin, 10 rupees, 1 rupee, whatever, 2 rupees or whatever. So the dictionary gives you suggestions to look up other words as well. So when you go to the illustration, let us say of a lion, then you learn what a mane is, the massive hair around the lion's head, paw, fangs. Okay, and then we have some special pages there that give you examples of, let us say, what are called group nouns or collective nouns. A group of crows you can see here is called a murder. A murder of crows is a group of crows. A group of owls is called a parliament. A parliament of owls. Some muster of peacocks. A group of peacocks. A skulk of foxes. You can find in some dictionaries a list of these collective nouns, which can make amusing reading, and it can add color to your writing if you are someone who can look for these things. So this is one way in which you can improve your vocabulary. Next thing, ma'am. Yeah, there are special sections in the dictionary. We have seen the box items there. Yes, exactly. Pack of wolves. All canines, the animals that resemble the dog, live in groups called packs. Yes, you're right. So there are words which can confuse this. It's a flock of birds, actually. A flock. That's right. So, yeah, what is the difference between continuous and continual? If you're confused with that, you can just go and look it up. And then there are some people say uh, we are, yes, it's a flock of birds. That's right. Some people say we are hopeful that we will get good marks in the exam. But most people say, hopefully, I will get good marks in the exam. There's a debate about it, but actually, what decides whether something is grammatical or not is the usage by the people. If the majority of the people use something in a particular way, then it is accepted as correct. Even though the grammarians may kill themselves for it, on it, it doesn't matter. Okay, so the dictionary helps you to resolve these confusing words like uprise and uprise, things like that. So words which, when should you use that and when should you use which as a conjunction, and so on. So can we go to the next slide, ma'am? Yeah, you must remember that each one of us has a very different style of learning words. Does more information about a word help you remember a word? For example, you can see here that the word capital comes from kaput, which means a head. So does this extra information help you to remember a word better, or is it a waste of time to learn these things? It's up to you to decide on these things, actually. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, basically we need to play with words. We need to have fun with words, and that's how we learn words. There are many words which have the same meaning and sound in English and in our languages. Man, in our culture, Manu is the first man, from which we get the word man. Better and better, they are similar in sound and meaning, as you can see. Many people talk about what is called the learning burden. Many experts talk about the learning burden. The learning burden refers to the difference between the target language, in our case English, and our native language. The closer the target language and our native language are, the lesser the learning burden is. So because so many words from Sanskrit and Hindi are there in English, we should find it less of a burden than, let us say, the Arabs find when they learn English. Okay. Finally, one more slide. The last slide now. Right. So it's very important that you should love what you're doing. And since we are learning words, you need to be very happy and proud when you pick up a new word. Ma'am, can we just take a look at those things I WhatsApp to you one more time, and then we can be open for questions. Yeah, any questions you can please feel free to ask.
Yes, sir. The students actually were asking in the chat box that how they can, like they wanted a few tips to improve language, grammar, vocabulary in general. Like some tips that you can suggest.
Could you repeat that?
So some tips that you can give on how these students can improve their language, grammar, vocabulary, so that it can be useful to them.
Okay, so you can simplify this task by looking at the Oxford 3000, which gives you the most frequently used words in the English language. You have a list of these things in the CD-ROM. I don't think they're giving this in the... But basically, as I'm saying, you must try and enjoy these things. You should never look at something as a task, as something that is really a burden on you. If you think it's a burden, then it is going to be a burden. You
Some
should
books
feel...
that you can refer where they can start. We have the OED, and besides this,
Ma'am, could you repeat that?
Yes, sir. So some books that you would suggest that they can go through.
No, basically, I would say you read whatever you like, whatever you enjoy, and
Yes.
that's the most important thing. You should enjoy what you're reading. You enjoy reading about cricketers, then you do that. You want to read about Tendulkar or Dhoni or whoever it is, please go ahead and read that. You should enjoy. That is the most important thing. That you should enjoy what you're reading. Nobody likes to be forced to do something. And if you think that this language is forcing itself upon you, then you have a problem.
Yes, sir.
But basically, you need to have fun with the language. You need to play with the language. And we do that every time, like we play with the language all day. Like when somebody at the dining table says, "Shut your mouth and eat," and then you say, "You please show me how to do that." You see, it's that kind of simple uh, fun with language that will help us to learn this language.
Yes, sir. So most of
Right.
the students have put in words of appreciation, saying that it was an excellent presentation, and they do not have much questions beside this. Now,
Yeah,
I please request.
Prachi, there are two, three questions. They have come from the students. May I ask, sir? Sir, good afternoon, sir. May I ask those questions?
Yeah, please, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. So there's
Yes.
a
Good
question
afternoon.
from one Divejendra Burman. Uh, he wants to know what is the best way to learn English correctly?
English?
Correctly. What is the best way to learn English correctly?
See, that's a difficult question to answer because there is nothing like a correct form. The language is always changing. The grammar is changing sometimes, but uh, what you need basically is an interest in the language. You need to fall in love with it. You need to enjoy making the sounds, the rhymes, and the rhythms. And you should try to use it as much as possible. But as I was saying, the most important thing to do is to, when you find a new word, you must use the word in connection with your own life. You must use your life as an example for that word. Make a sentence from your life using that word in a sentence. And that example should come from your life. Okay. So if you look at a word like a rhodomontade, which is a new word, it's a long word. A rhodomontade is a boastful person. So you think of someone in your life who is boasting and who has that kind of irritating tendency. And you should feel the word. You should respond to it. If it's a bad word, then you should feel angry. You should feel upset about it. It should be an emotional response to it. You cannot learn a word in a completely purely intellectual way. It should be intellectual, it should be emotional, it should be physical. You should feel the word. How does it feel to make a soft sound? How does it make you feel as how does it feel to make a hard sound like T? Okay, so it's like eating an ice cream. You enjoy the coldness, the sweetness, the color, the feel on your tongue. So it's a multi dimensional experience of sight, taste, you know. A word is like that.
Sir, there is one more question from Bushra. She is asking what are the advantages of a paper dictionary over an online dictionary?
Yeah, okay. Most people, I think, are used to a paper thing. That's one advantage that you have. I think the younger generation is now shifting on to the online thing, or at least they have 50% of their life online and 50% in the other thing. So, but as I was saying here, the online thing has many advantages in the sense that you can repeat it, it will pronounce for you, it can do many things that the hard copy of the dictionary cannot do for you. So you have much more variety and you have more information on the online thing than on the hard copy.
Sir, there is one question from Shubhra Karan. She is asking, what is a collegiate dictionary?
Collegiate, okay. As we were saying, there are different kinds of dictionaries based on the complexity, the number of words they cover, and so on. So the collegiate dictionary is a very advanced dictionary. It's meant for the native speaker, not for the learner. It's a very heavy dictionary which you can't carry around because of the size and the number of pages in it. So it's a desktop dictionary. It's a desk dictionary. So you need to, that's a collegiate dictionary. It's meant for college people who are very advanced in, people like you whose English is very advanced and very of a very high order.
Sir, another question is from Swastika Verma. She is asking, as a non-native speaker, we often find difficulties in pronouncing words as we don't know where to put stress on which syllable. How to tackle this problem?
Okay, as I was saying, there are some basic rules which don't always work, but they do work sometimes. Like the accent on falling on the first syllable for nouns, the second syllable for verbs. Okay, but like in any language, we have the challenges. Okay, for me as a speaker of Telugu, gender in Hindi is a huge problem for me. Okay, so which is masculine, which is feminine? Is train masculine, gadi feminine? So these are things that you have to learn on a case by case basis. But sometimes there are rules that will help you, but they don't help you all the time. So it is not an easy thing. It is something of a challenge for sure. That's true.
So one student from YouTube has asked, Sanjana Prakash wants to know if you can suggest some books of phonetics to start the basics of phonetics. Any good books that you would recommend them so that they will be able to take it up?
Oh, you want to learn phonetics separately?
Yes, sir. They're interested in that. So it's some basic, something which explains them the fundamentals and they can learn from it. So any particular book that you would
See,
suggest?
basically, I think at the degree level, it's a bit too advanced for you. I would say, unless you have a teacher to teach you these things, don't get into it. Okay. Now on the CD-ROM, you have the pronunciation of the words, and the CD-ROM will pronounce it for you 20,000 times if you have the patience to listen to it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, you get on to the CD-ROM, and at this stage, I would say, unless you find a teacher of phonetics, don't get into the phonetics book.
Okay.
At this stage, maybe a little later you can do that. But there are books by Professor A.K. Bansal, which focus on Indian pronunciation. You could go there and buy a book if you're so interested in that. But the best pronunciation book is, of course, by Daniel Jones.
Yes. Yeah. I think our students will benefit that. May I now request Dr. Afternoon Khan Haq to kindly propose the vote of thanks for this session.
Yes. Prachi, before I propose the vote of thanks, there is one last question from one Abhishek Kumar Mehto. He has asked why there is too much difference in English as compared to speaking and learning in various countries. This is the last question.
See, in our own languages, they are spoken differently in different places. Okay, these are called dialects, right? The dialect is the regional variation of a language. How it is spoken, the same language, Hindi is spoken differently in UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, and so on. They have a different way of pronouncing these things. So sometimes the meaning might differ. As far as English is concerned, you only have one responsibility, that you should be understandable when you speak. We don't have to speak like the Americans. We don't have to speak like the British or like anyone else. We will speak like ourselves, like Indians. And because people are listening to us, they are giving us a part of their life to listen to us. Our responsibility is to be understandable. Beyond that, you have no further responsibility. It is not your responsibility to speak like the British or Americans or in
Yes.
whoever.
Very true. Very true. Very
That's
true.
about it. Now,
I agree.
this is what is called accent neutrality. Okay, there are some sounds which are there in English which are not there in our languages. We have to learn those sounds. It takes us a little bit of effort, but not much. In about a week's time, you can learn up these sounds. But I'm very happy that there are students who want to learn phonetics and so on, which is a very, very interesting area. So there are books in the market. Bunsel's is a standard thing, but somewhat dated. But he was a Pakka Englishman who would teach here in this university. And he could teach British pronunciation to the British. He was that good. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful session, very informative and very enriching. We
Thank you.
feel honored. We feel honored and privileged to have an erudite scholar like you amongst us.
Oh no, man.
Your observations on the treasure house of information that is dictionaries, its varieties, its usage, its enormous contribution in building and enhancement of vocabulary, and also the growing need to engage in the research on lexicography were truly relevant and remarkable, and I'm sure it has given the students deeper insights into the reference skills and vocabulary building. As we move towards the grand finale, I can clearly see the excitement and enthusiasm building up in the students. My heartfelt thanks to our honorable principal and patron of this program for her constant support, guidance, and encouragement. Thank you, CPE committee. Thank you, Devjini. Thanks to Prachi, our cordial host. Thank you, my dear students, for your cooperation and enthusiasm. Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you
Yes,
to
sir.
the students and to all of you, ma'am, for all the kind words. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. We are winding up now. We meet again tomorrow at 10 a.m. sharp. But before we wind up, there are a few instructions for the participants. As already mentioned, attendance for all the sessions is mandatory. At the end of each session, you have to fill up and submit the feedback forms within half an hour, the link to which will be provided in WhatsApp group and YouTube chat box. The link will be open only for 30 minutes. So now with this, we wind up. Thank you, Prachi. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I would like to interrupt once more. There is a small announcement. The score sheet for the test that you all have taken today, it will be released shortly. And please check your emails for the same. And we will reconnect tomorrow for the 9th session at 10 a.m. with Refi ma'am. Thank you.